Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Podcana. I am here with Moyen to do a deck tech on the Sapphire Steel list that he took to a second place finish in the recent pack tournament. There was 178 players, $1,600 prize pool. Moyen, let's just talk about this deck from a high level here, because Blue Steel was a popular archetype in set 2, early in set 3 here, so the week 0, week 1 meta. I wasn't really hearing much about it, and then suddenly, I know there were some players on it before you, but it was sort of like suddenly this tournament, it just burst onto the scene, this incredible Blue Steel list, and it looked super, super powerful in your hands as you were streaming the tournament. Talk to me a little bit how you found this list and where it's positioned in set 3.
So it's very similar to how it was in set 2, where it was a very undercover deck until it bursted onto the scene in some tournament performances. And still, I feel like less people played it than probably should have. I think in set 2 it was already at least the second best deck of the format probably. Right now I think it might have even made the jump to best deck in the format. So the way that I got introduced to the deck was I rewatched the VOD of Zephyr's stream, and Zephyr was streaming an entire day of gauntlet matchups against all the different decks in the meta, just playing all the different Blue Steel matchups. And I was very impressed with how consistently powerful, how consistent the deck was doing at powerful things. So then I played the deck most of the night. So it was one day before the tournament, and then most of the day before the tournament started to actually make sure that the deck is that powerful and to get my own experience on it. And I twisted it a little bit. I think my list might have been 3 or 4 cards different to the list that they ended up on the day before. The deck's very strong against a lot of the meta decks, and there's very little weaknesses to it. So
Yeah, I wanted to ask this deck's position in the metagame. Like, what is it good against? What is it preying upon? And what's its primary game plan? What is it trying to do every single game? Like, what's the powerful, like the ceiling of this deck, and then what's sort of like your floor as well, like your standard game plans?
Sure. So matchup wise, I would say that the Amethyst Emerald deck that won the 101 player tournament in Germany, one of the first big set 3 tournaments in person, and that matchup is extremely free. That's one of the best matchups of the deck. It's very hard to lose because basically everything you play sticks, and playing a 1 and 2 drop. Okay, I get to that later, but you are still good at slowing them down very early. Then Green Steel, if they don't play Bucky, is also very free. If they play Bucky, I think it's still favored, but a lot closer. And then Ruby Amethyst is extremely close, but it used to be a bad matchup in my opinion in set 2. It got closer now with the introduction of Smee, and even more than Smee, it got better with the introduction of location, so you can actually play one Be Prepared. I think
Steel
Amethyst with Jafar or without Jafar is both a good matchup. So the only things you're really concerned about would be red-blue, but no one really plays red-blue. Like in set 2, red-blue just doesn't have the greatest matchups against the faster decks of the meta. So the faster decks are holding back red-blue, so that red-blue can't really hold back Blue Steel. The other concern is, at least with the deck, with the way I built it, I didn't have answers for Shift Cinderella. But even so, I think the only decks that would play Cinderella would be Ember Steel, and I think even without answers for Cinderella, the matchup's like totally playable, but you can definitely tech for it, and then that matchup's also pretty good. So I think the deck doesn't really have weaknesses in the current meta.
What about the game plan, the primary game plans?
So basically, in the first 2 turns, you want to get at least 1 character down. Like, you don't have to get 2 characters down, but you want to get 1 down. And your early curve is just Captain Hook and Smee for the first 2 turns. And just getting any of these down is often enough to make your opponent unwilling to quest, because otherwise they might get 2 for 1. Or Captain Hook trades and leaves up this 1/1 body, and they have to trade into. And with Smee, often it actually 2 for 1s if they were to quest early. So just getting 1 of those down early helps slow down the opponent enough so that you can take turn 3 off tempo and play Mickey Mouse or Quill to ramp. You prefer to play Quill because it lets you ramp to 6 ink on turn 4, which means you could play Gaston or Tinkerbell already instead. And the lower hand size is often very fine, because soon you might be able to wheel anyways. And so Quill just accelerates the gameplay even faster. But basically, in the first 2 turns, you get something down to slow your opponent down. You fit in Pawpsicles where you can to set up for later Flaversham, and you can use Develop Your Brain if you're looking for a key ramp piece. Then turn 3, you ramp. Turn 4, you play either a 5 or a 6 drop, most of the time, unless you already have to grab your sword. And then preferably you would rather play a 5 or a 6 drop on turn 4, and then afterwards be able to sing Grab Your Swords or Whole New World and stabilize from there. And then after that, you can just stabilize, because you have so many more resources than your opponent. And the deck, even when you miss your wheel, or when it gets discarded, the deck's actually so good at not running out of stuff, just with Sad Beast. I was playing 4 Gaston in the tournament with the Flaversham Flavershams. Even after using so many cards to ramp, the deck can actually keep up quite well on little cards because there's so many cards that replace themselves also. All the cantrips and Pawpsicles and develop your brains.
Yeah, it's really interesting the different axes in which you're competing on as you enter the sort of the mid to late game with this deck. You both have the ability to accelerate via ramp with Fishbone Quill or Mickey Mouse. That Fishbone Quill taking a lot of cards out of your hand. And of course, you can play your 5-cost character and sing that whole new world, draw a whole new set of 7 cards, have massive card advantage on your opponent, or you have a completely sort of different game plan in the form of Flaversham, Pawpsicle, Beast, and you have all this other card draw even outside of that. So you can go long against some of the slower decks or more control decks. Like the sort of that paradigm of the deck is just so fundamentally powerful. And
it also means,
go ahead.
Just if I can jump in there, because I think it leads to very interesting decisions when your opponent has to be playing around wheel. So often they have to play a little bit more for tempo than they usually would. And then there's cases where you can recognize, okay, my opponent inked such high value cards and used so many cards for tempo. They went so low on hand size. Actually, I don't need to use this wheel. I can actually outvalue my opponent without using the wheel and just run them out of cards this way.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this is a Sapphire Steel deck, and Steel is probably the most powerful color at the moment, or ink at the moment in Lorcana, because that removal is just so critical at this stage of the metagame. It's just, yeah. Talk to me a little bit about the removal package in this deck specifically and how effective it can be, having access to Grab Your Swords, Along Came Zeus, Tinkerbell, etc.
So on their own, they are not crazy strong, but it's just having access to the AoE damage can be very strong, especially because you can ramp so quickly that often you can double Grab Your Sword or Tinkerbell plus a Grab Your Sword on the same turn, because a lot of decks currently play 3 to 4 willpower characters, and then if you do that once, their tempo swing is so huge that they can basically not recover from it. And then the Zeus is very nice to occasionally take out very high priority targets like Sad Beast, which the deck's very good against that beast because it can also just Tinkerbell it, already deny the card draw and just say fine. Can take out the green beast, can take out Jafar's, all the combo cards really die to Zeus.
And there's one other card you have here, one other removal card that might not be at the forefront of everybody's mind, but very much has become more important as we've seen these big tournaments conclude and seen the power level of some of these locations, and that is 2 Rise of the Titans. Talk to me about the use case of this card specifically.
So this card is extremely important because the steel removal is extremely good at dealing with characters. This entire deck is not very good at dealing with locations because a lot of the characters don't have high strength, they rather have high willpower, and taking out locations would otherwise be a huge issue. And the most important matchup for this is Ruby Amethyst, where not having location removal can give them enough lore so that they actually can chip away with goats in the late game, and you will lose the game of that. So I think for that matchup, Rise of the Titans is absolutely necessary to be able to win that. And that matchup is so interesting because it used to be so bad because you like hyper accelerate, but still at the time where you can then stabilize and flood the board, they just be prepared you and it totally resets the board. Now with the introduction of locations, you can deal with their locations, but they're also very good at dealing with your locations early game. But the thing is, once you know you're ahead on the board and their only good play is be prepared, that's when you can put down the McDuck Manors, and they can't interact with it at all.
I also think that the set 3 Ruby Amethyst list is a bit lower curve than the set 2 or set 1 variant. It is a bit more lower to the ground and tempo oriented to try to deal with some of those faster decks in the format. And because of that, you're able to grind them out a little bit more for all the reasons that you talked about. But I mean, most lists are excluding books at this time. Most lists are excluding characters that cost more than 6. They don't even have characters that can sing Be Prepared. I know a list that made top 8 at that same tournament does have a few Maleficent monstrous dragons. But ultimately, the Ruby Amethyst list nowadays is way less focused on hyper control and more just another tempo deck. So again, you're able to sort of take them into the mid and long game with something like Blue Steel a lot more comfortably now.
But even if they do play late game, I feel like it doesn't matter as much because you just play more cards than them. Even if they play a few big bombs and just flood the board, and they do need to be playing B prep, and then if you can flood the board plus have something on top. But yeah, them playing a little bit late game also helps you grind them out.
Yeah, there's a few cards I want to talk about specifically here. New cards that we haven't mentioned yet. The first one is McDuck Manor, the 4-cost location that has 9 defense. this seems like one of the most powerful locations in set 3. Do you think that is this critical to this deck's game plan?
No, so it is only critical against Beep Prep almost, but also against some other decks it helps you close out the games because it just takes them too much time to deal with the McDuck Manors. But it's not actually critical to the game plan, it's just critical for playing around Be Prepared, I think. But I think McDuck Manor is my front runner for best location in the game. I know a lot of people say Queen's Castle because of the draw effect, but I can see 2 more willpower actually being more impactful than Queen's Castle's draw.
Yeah. Next up here is Gaston, the 4/4 that quests for 3, unless you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and draw 1. You have 4 copies of this. It is a 6 cost on Inkable. I know I've seen both in other players' chats and even in your chat while you're streaming this, people are like, oh, do you think you need 4 Gastons? Like, is this a must-have? Talk to me about the sort of the role of Gaston in this deck.
So basically, Gaston is a big reason why you can afford to go low on hand size and still be able to outvalue your opponent, because you can drop these Gastons that not only replace themselves, but let you also at the same time look for cards that is high value or fitting to your current position. But also, the deck used to play Bell, where it got lots of its questing threat and questing power from, but it can't really do that anymore because Emerald plays Cloud Kicker now, and Ruby plays 3 to 4 Medusas a lot of the time, and that's just too much efficient removal for Bell for it to be a good, efficient threat. And because it can't do that anymore, this deck can at times struggle to, after stabilizing, struggle to threaten quickly enough to get to 20 lore, and Gaston is our highest questing character and also helps a lot with that. Plus, he's one of the best cards to ramp into, especially with Quill. Mm-hmm. So because with Quill, you have 6 ink on turn 4, and there you very often, if you don't need to be playing Tinkerbell, your favorite place is usually Gaston, because even if it gets removed, it already replaced itself, unlike Beast. For example, against Green Steel, if you ramp into Beast and they just sing Zeus to kill it, that's a huge swing, and they might just run away with the game from that. But Gaston replacing itself at least helps you find a new tool to be able to pressure the board.
The last thing I want to talk about here before we jump into the gameplay is the cantrips, the 4 Develop Your Brain and 1 Nothing to Hide. Just talk to me about the role of these cards in the deck. What are you digging to specific cards? Like, how often is it Develop Your Brain sort of impacting your game plan? Because for me, I look at a list like this and I think about how the metagame might adapt, which we'll get to in the outro. Maybe some cards we would swap in or swap out. But I think about cards like Let It Go, Hades. Are these cantrips potentially the replaceable spot, or are they super critical to making the deck function?
So Nothing to Hide is kind of a tech card, so it's definitely replaceable. It's a tech card, and it lets you play around what your opponent has, which is okay, but it's only really good against Ruby Amethyst, where it gives you the most important information about whether to wheel and when to wheel, especially knowing how many Be Prepareds they have in their current hand. But Develop Your Brain, I would say, is actually like crucial to how the deck functions. Because again, you don't always have the dream of Quill into a big character, the big character sticks and I sing wheel. That doesn't always happen. A lot of the time you need to be able to compete with your opponent's deck while you are on less hand size on them, but still be able to keep up with them and win the board. And for that, you just Develop Your Brain is like a great late game card. In the early game, you rarely use it because you would rather be doing something instead. Honestly, in the first few turns, you only use it if you don't have Mickey Mouse or Quill yet. Otherwise, it is an extremely strong late game card, but not something you want to be spending your ink on early game necessarily. So if you want to be making room for tech cards for Cinderella, like Hades or Let It Go, I think you would be cutting down. You could cut the 4th Gaston, you could cut down on the Zeus. Depending on how many locations there are, I think you will want to be on 2 or 3 Rise of the Titan most of the time. You can cut the Nothing to Hide if you're facing, if you don't think you need it for the Ruby Amethyst matchup. Mm-hmm. That's where I would make the slots. But actually, the best new addition to the deck, I think, is Mr. Smee, because for example, the curve where you just go 1-2 Mickey Mouse into a 5 it used to be very mediocre, but I think it got quite a bit better, because now before that it was like, okay, let's say Pawpsicle, Prince Eric, and then Mickey Mouse Beast or something, or Mickey Mouse Cogsworth. But it still left up a weak character when the Prince Eric traded. But Smee, there's so many 1/3s in the meta, like the 1/3 Ursula from green. It can actually kill something, survive, and then they struggle to deal 1 damage and they actually 2 phones. But also, if they don't do it and you just leave up the street where you can just go let's say Captain Hook or Pawpsicle into Smee, into Mickey Mouse, and then into Cogsworth. And a 3/3 that quests for 2 with resist 1 from the Cogsworth is an absolute unit. It's not comparable to a Prince Eric with resist 1.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about it in our set review. We named Smee as potentially the best card in the entire set. And I think he fills that role in this deck. I mean, it's just an incredible card. 2 cost, 3/3, quest for 2. Especially to you get that Cogsworth down. It is, like you said, it's a 2 cost, but it is an absolute unit in the deck. With that, I do want to hop over to the gameplay. For the gameplay on this video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to be taking some of the VODs from Moyen's run in the tournament because he was commentating over them while playing. So I'm going to include sort of 1 to 2 of those gameplay videos, and then we'll come back and talk to you guys at the outro and just reiterate some cards that we're thinking about, to swap in, swap out. Like if there's a lot of Cinderellas in the metagame, are you going to be adding Let It Go? Do you need to add Hades? What do we cut for that? We'll hit that all in the outro. But until then, enjoy the gameplay.
Okay. It has begun, and we go first. Mickey Mouse, we have to keep, unfortunately. I think the more Pawpsicles, the better. Thing is, Maui with Fishbone can just clear McDuck's mana. And especially, I think in this matchup, mana, for the longest time, is a very bad card. It's just good going into their B-prep when they actually do have to B-prep. It's definitely the card that goes first. Drew lots of uninkable, kind of. Need to draw some ink here. Not sure I would play Smee or Captain Hook if I was to draw it. They actually don't play Thief and Ambitions, do they? They don't play Thief and Ambitions. That's probably very good for them. That card bros in this matchup. It's the Olaf. There's the Quill. No 1-drop yet though. Still no 1-drop. Which means they get to quest for free and play Cusco. If I play a 1-drop, they have to Snake Mim. If they found one of their 2 Cuscos, they actually get quite a few lore out of me having not having Captain Hook. We get to do the whole ramp into something, into a whole new world thing though. It's okay. Just without the early game. Think friends. Okay, that's the Mim. I hope. Yeah. It's better for me than if they had Cusco Wish for sure. So second Cogsworth has to go. I will still play my card into their 4 ink turn, so I could just play Tinkerbell. They can't Dragonfire it yet at least. Probably does more. Sets Madam up for Grab Your Sword, does more posting Whole New World after they Maui it. It's not mini. Actually threatens the board immediately. I have a read on them not having Mini Mouse, I guess. What else do I know? They didn't have Cusco or Mini earlier. This hand, what's the best play this turn? Probably Goat. Actually, it's Castle, the more I think about it. Yeah, they would love to set up Castle here, I think. Can't really quest. If they quest, I just kill both with Tinkerbell. And maybe even hardcast onward. Or just play Cogsworth. Take the trade, and I'm chilling. They have the castle. That's too good not to do, isn't it? I think that's just Cogsworth, Grab Your Sword. And then we have a lot of singers for next turn. Or is it ever just Grab Your Sword and Whole New World? They have 2 ink left. Actually, if I with the Quill, I could still full clear. Kinda like that. So yeah. I think we cast Grab Your Sword still. We can still cast Rise of the Titans if we get it. I could have even played Grab Your Sword, then they have to target this and I change castle. But then I don't sing anything, I don't do anything. But it's an interesting play, I guess. Shit, we didn't get Rise of the Titans. Quill a Whole New World, play a Smee. Two McDuck's manas if we get a hold of this fucking board. Basically, if we don't get Maui, it could be good. The end was actually pretty bad. I couldn't know that. They didn't have Maui. I didn't discard a single Maui or Bee Prep, that's annoying. Do see a lot of friends on the other side. If they Maui this, and then maybe they Dragonfire the Gaston, and then just go Gaston location. Can't sing Honeyword, so the best play. Merlin is very slow here. Rafiki can challenge for a lot. I don't think I want to Honeyword this turn, I just want to double challenge most likely. I think I want to set up the Cogsworth. Cogsworth location then. Do I actually ink this? I think so. Ink this, play these two, don't use Quill. Didn't get to quest at all yet because I didn't have any early game. Nothing in this world could stop the spread of her wings. They probably want to Medusa this me. Maybe I should quill something, but I don't want to quill these. Because next time if I Gaston, I have 3 cards, can only ink 2 for the Holy Word. Casting Friends. Very happy to see that, I think. Like, doesn't change all that much, but with me reeling very soon, could be decent. At least this doesn't challenge. Is that like the 4 friends? Did they ink 2? I feel like they ink 2. That's 7. They still need a crab. I still have 1 mana left in the deck. Even if they kill this, I set up another one, I have 1 more left. So they also don't have Medusa on this end. No Medusa, no Maui. I feel like there's lots of B-preps. For all of the cards that are not having, it's kind of likely there's lots of B-preps. I'm definitely wheeling next turn. Just putting this low, maybe. Probably take the Tinkerbell trade. The rest quests. Think Cogsworth quests too. No more. Oh, more Rafikis. I don't even play the Gaston. Then Cogsworth casts this. How many B-preps is that? 0? Really? There was a 0 B-prep hand. Okay, so it's 4 B-preps left. Don't need to commit more. Clear just enough so that if they B-prep, I have 2 manas up. Could still ink a card, right? No, I cannot. Okay. Yeah, I double inked me first. Okay. It's kind of... it's not ridiculous. It is kind of ridiculous. 36 cards left, 4 B-preps. I discarded so many of theirs. But also, the turns were awkward so far. And I hoped B-prep was the reason, but their hand was just awkward by not having any B-preps in it. Or Maleficent Dragons? Or Dragonfires. Just all playable cards. So Maui? But that dies... Oh, I guess it just kills Tinkerbell. Kills Cogsworth most likely. If it kills Tinkerbell, I just have a... Tinkerbell. Oh, but also they need to be killing the manas. This feels very good, no? Oh, 6 damage into a 2 HP mana. Bouncing it back. That has to mean they still don't have B-prep, right? This we should play for sure. It's Rise of the Titans. They have to B-prep now, right? I would love to set up another mana, but I only have 1 left. They only play 2 Medusas. I just play my clunky card and the Beast. So to kill this mana, all they have to do is play Maui. Then they have 3 ink left. Can Maui this. Might be okay passing. I don't think I need the Beast really going forward. Just play like Tinkerbell, dump my hand. Fishing for the Be Prepared, 4 out of 27. Oh, did they actually find it? They actually found it. But now we know that this hand doesn't contain any other Be Prepared, right? It's the only way reason they would play it like this. So we just go like full dump. Which I guess maybe the Beast would help for. Just wanted to end it because I knew they didn't have it. They also have Maui in hand. Is one Tinkerbell enough pressure here? Kind of is, right? But then I need to ink one of the Rise of the Titans with Quill. I think that's fine. So I need to find Be Prepared off the top again. They can't draw for it. If they find it, then we play enough threats again that they need to have it again. It's just the mana pressure. King Be Prep not it. And we got too much ink in because they didn't have Maui on 5 ink. They had a decent hand, but they never had like the best answer for a lot of turns. Never reeling again. With knowing they don't have a Be Prep in hand. Probably playing a Tinkerbell here as well. Maybe I find Manor. So 1 dice for free. This is all I need, right? They can never remove all of this without playing Be Prepared. And if they play Be Prepared, playing something doesn't do anything. Nice. Let's see how it plays going second. Which I assume is a lot worse. We have the Quill. Let's look for Hook and Smee. For now, I guess we keep Beast until we have a better card to ramp into. Prefer Cogs. I would prefer all the other 5s and 6s. Rafiki. Probably Gaston I already prefer. Goodbye Beast. With Quill, having Quill already, I'll just do the curve of Pawpsicle into Smee, into Quill, Pawpsicle, into Tinkerbell or Gaston. So I don't really have time to play Develop Your Brain, and I already have most of the things I'm looking for. I guess I don't have a wheel. Okay, they go a little bit more aggressive. I think Manor is still a bad card for the first 5-6 turns. No. Having something means they can't just quest with everything each turn without losing a character. Could Pinocchio my Smee? Pinocchio. Ink Merlin. Fishhook. That's very chill. They didn't have Minnie Mouse. They would always play Minnie Mouse there. I think Flaversham's better than Develop Your Brain to keep. But honestly... Oh, I also already free. Honestly, I'm probably getting rid of both. Unless I want to get rid of Gaston. Don't know what you're expecting of me. Cogsworth would be great. To take, like, turns me into a 3-4 essentially. Even better than a 3-4 that quests for 2. So we actually get some early lore in. Don't know if it's better than 6 though. Could actually be. Think about dealing 1 to these doesn't matter as much. Think I might just go Gaston here. And play the Tinkerbell before singing next turn. Do I have time for the Cogsworth? I would love to get a Cogsworth down, but do I have time? Might. Depending on what they do. Now, if this hand going first, we would already be very ahead. Also, definitely want mana at the bottom. Smee was the... If we just want ink, Smee was better, so we have Cogsworth later, but Smee later is also not bad. Just play the Maui, give something evasive. With the hook up, even with Cogsworth, my characters really are not that protected. So I think I will just ink. And play Tinkerbell and Holy World. A Maui and a Friends discarded. I don't know why they're greeting me. So this will be my last wheel. Already inked one, played one, and now I have 2 more. Questing with Smee is good if I assume it just gets Medusa'd. It's annoying that Rafiki gets to clear it though. Then I can just do something else. Actually, I think I play hook. Rafiki can clear something anyways, right? I think I pass. 3 manas left in the deck for this game. Quill already inked so many uninkables. Crap. So they can still use hook for evasive. Shouldn't they do it on Rafiki? Maybe they wanna go Rafiki evasive. Rabbit for draw. Oh, this would make for a great Tinkerbell swords. Because then we're also going to be prep territory. Don't know how to play this next turn. I go evasive Rafiki. I think well sequenced. Crap on the board can also clear a million things. Do I just Holy World again? Don't see myself getting too much value out of this hand. Could play the Grab Your Sword first. I think it's alright. So after this I won't have access to any more Holy Worlds. Can I never discard a Be Prepared from their hand? Just takes this straight. Then with Hook they can just kill anything. I feel like it's time to quest. But also everything is just so well set up. It's not time to quest if they be prep, sure. Just redevelop with Gastons. Like 6-ish. Again, all be preps left. Only got 0 lore. 2 friends, they know we don't have wheels left. It's a lot of resources. Just thinking what to quest and be prep for sure. It's alright. Still had a sensible amount of board themselves. And now we can develop an empty board each turn. Hopefully find a mana. So we have 12 ink. 12 ink's not easy to fit in a mana. 6 ink available basically. Would have loved to play Cogsworth so I don't open myself up to Medusa, which they have 2 of left, but I think just have to play a beast here now. Or Flaversham, honestly. Could also just like Pinocchio Maui me. How bad is the location here? It's pretty bad, right? They just Maui it and all I have is a Gaston. So I don't need to develop your brain for it. Two B preps, and now they have all the B preps. 2 castles, Maui, Dragonfire, Murder Mini. Also the Maui is already there. So Zeus could be good if they tempo Maui, if they ever did that. We have Rise of the Titans for both of their locations. Mini is annoying, but we would probably just let it stick until we Tinkerbell Grab Your Sword. And they have 2 B preps. They might have to use another one here. I think I will try to play like just a little bit from ahead every turn. So like they kind of have, like they don't have to be prepared, but kind of bad spot if they don't. So this and Mini, decent play I guess. So they have all of their castles, so 2 of the castles discarded, 1 of them in hand. Ink the goat. Yeah, this was expected. But now I just make a board I also know that they can't efficiently answer Beast. They didn't have a Medusa in hand. So there's only one card that could be Medusa. So Beast is a very good threat this turn. This quests. Now they can Maui it. The Maui it, that goes to 4 HP. I don't know that I actually want to develop your brain instead of just using it as ink. I think with this many resources I can probably use it as ink. I don't care enough about the fishhook to get rid of it. This looks like a double beast turn now that I know. Like, now is where the Medusa threat will be at its lowest for the entire game. Maybe I should have just, instead of Flaversham, I could have just played beast last turn. Like ink, develop your brain with Quill. Yes. Do I actually need 14 ink next turn? Maybe. Okay, 2 more Be Prepareds left. Board should be mostly empty. They still have Maui in hand. Maui, 2 castles. They inked the goat. Maui, 2 castles. They used the Dragonfire. Ink Olaf. Without playing some. Smee's are also actually pretty good now. Location is still kind of bad against Maui. I would like to play 3 threats if I can. So I have 8 ink. And then maybe just fill it up with a Smee. Can go double 5, but it really seems necessary. I think I actually play a Smee. Force out the next Be Prepared. Then pressure a lot again. I could have kept that for card draw. Maybe. For card draw of another Flaversham. So every time, like if they can develop into my smallish board and then they get to quest and then be prep, that just gets them closer to 20 as well. So do value forcing out the be prep. Ooh. If they don't be prep here, then I'm very happy I played this for me. I have 2 be preps left, 1 in hand. 2 castles left, I think. But I'm still holding my Rise of the Titans for it, I think. This also means Flaversham probably gets to draw again, which would be great. I still want more resources. This is not enough to force to all the B preps that they can have. No, please no Medusa off the top. Okay, that's just card draw. Swab it. I mean, that's also very good for them, but I think maybe it's better for us this way. Next time they can actually be prepared and play a 4-cost behind it. This might not be the worst mana turn. It's definitely a good Cogsworth turn. Mana is also alright. Don't need to use Quill. Could Zeus a Mim, but that feels quite wasteful. But if I don't, I have 8 attack on board. If I don't, I can like Fox Mim. It's 2 Fox Mims. Love to play like multiple manas this turn, but that. They can be prep and castle, but I'm very well prepared for that. Even Captain Hook is a threat, like, that I might not want to ink. So that's an extra threat that could make a difference. 2 minutes delay is nothing. Like, if someone was sniping in a matchup like this, they would still know a lot of cards. Okay. They give me another round of questing because they don't want to be prep and leave up mana, which is what the Zeus achieved. So otherwise they could be prep and Fox. Oh. Okay. Another hook, okay. So I still get to clear mana, but then I get to quest for like 5. It's a lot. I just want another mana, because I can just... They attack mana for 9. I go Zeus, another mana, and I'm chilling, if I find it. I don't actually know... I've kind of lost the count. I think I inked 1. And 1 just died. Yeah, so I think there should be 2 more left. One of them I put at the bottom of my deck when I played Gaston. But it was like, I have played a Gaston after that. I've shuffled the deck. But there's 2 Gastons left. Duelist. So how much can they remove of this board? Another Quill would actually be good for card draw. The Quill I inked ages ago, but I also used all my ink in a couple of turns. A few turns at least. I mean, I know they have at least one more Be Prepared in hand. So if this is just the board, it is kind of easy to remove, isn't it? They've already used 3 Mauis though. Without Maui, Cogsworth just doesn't die. Oh, I guess with Hook. Foxmem does the same thing. So I could play, the options are Captain Hook, just Cogsworth. I mean, it's never both. It's one of those two I think I'm adding to the board. I think that's enough. Breathe me out. So they need like Fox Mims, Maui. Not Foxa. Yeah, okay, there's Fox. Fox Mim. Maybe Maleficent. That's kind of slow. Medusa is okay, but doesn't do all that much. They really want to get the value trades. Okay, it's great. There's one more left in their deck, at least. It's probably a castle now, right? Yeah. Don't have enough ink yet to go 6-5-3. We want like mana. Anything that we can play alongside Cogsworth, or a card that we don't mind inking, but then you're kind of running low. Ooh. It's very good, I think. So scared to accidentally target the fish hooks. But now they probably have drawn into Maleficent or Medusa. 14. Another castle. I could clear the castle, but then Medusa just clears my... I think it's fine if Medusa clears my shadow. So I've Grab Your Sword to follow it up. So I just go Tinkerbell, Smee, Zeus. Clear the castle. Oh, they can also just give it evasive as well. Could also just ignore the castle. But then I Omega lose to Nasby Prep. How do I ever clear the castle if I don't just do it now? Do I even need to? I go to 14. But then I Omega lose to be Prep. That's 15 cards left. I think I'm the one that's pushing. I think that's the correct play to play this for sure. So I'm not actually that... Like, my hand's not that great for the long game. If I just kill Queen's Castle, they kill my Cogsworth, give it evasive. I only have these 2 threats, I'm at 12 lore. Sure, Castle's gone and I don't lose to B-Prep, but I might just lose. Regardless. And this way I think I'm giving myself a better chance to win. So if I get, like... Even if they rush this down... I have 3 2-log Questers. If I just go to 18, any of these Tinkerbells is threatening game. They have the Pinocchios left, the Maleficents left. Like, sure, it's annoying, they can maybe snowball off this if they can keep removing my shit, but... This is much more aggressive and I like it a lot better. If I found 3rd or 4th mana, that would have helped a lot, but at this point... They often just die to hooks, I imagine. Really? Thinking mini here? Just to snake mem this? I'll give it evasive? I don't care. Okay, shit, they get to stall out. Because I didn't play the other Tinkerbell. I was trying to play around them drawing their 2 draws into B prep. Now every one lore character is threatening game. But they don't have anything on the castle. I guess if they ink something, they can move it in there. Maybe this will come back to bite me. It's something here. That's good. I mean, it's not great, but not quite sure why I'm inking, but I didn't feel like this game goes to deck out. So now still I'm putting them in a position where just removing like one Pinocchio and stuff is not enough. Still kind of need to be prep, and then every threat I play can help me go to 20. But I will get there soon too. Like I played on something that I guess maybe they didn't have, but I'm not sure whether it was high AV or not. So I was quite losing if I go all in and they do have the 4th B prep. 10 cards left in deck. I really shouldn't have inked with Mickey. I don't think I will ever deck out, but yeah, I'm never decking out, but it's not like the ink does anything. I guess maybe sometimes does if I chain like Gastons into location removal. Okay. Chaining Gastons, lol. I guess I have 1 left. So if all they can do is like bounce Malifs and replay it, we win. Pinocchio and Rush. But then they need to kill Tinkerbell as well. They have a Dragonfire left as far as I know. There's the Russia. And the ink and... oof. Okay. Need a threat off the top. Hopefully more than a threat. They go to 17. I still have 1 turn where they need to remove my character. Shh. That's a loss, I think. So we need to win game 3. Yeah, because I got to 7. Yeah. Shit. I just felt like if they don't have it, I would still win almost every time, but then she managed up to grind this out. Okay, so we're going to game 3. Smee might have been enough. Okay, shit. Last game. Gaston is a great card to ramp into, but really want to have 1 and 2 drops. Reset mind, and let's go. Think I can afford to ink that here. Smee is a great draw. So what do I want to ramp into? Tinkerbell or Beast? Beast draws me an extra card. Tinkerbell is just a unit that already deals damage on their shadows. Setting them up for grab your sword. Feeling I'd rather keep Beast even, but... Played on my turn 4, going into their turn 4. Jim goes. 1 Jim left, Rafiki. With Holy World, I'm less reliant on the card draw. So actually I think now I'm allowed to do this. Need ink off the top though. I would never not play Smee here though. That means Snake Mim. Ink the Crab. Crab and Jim. Oh, that card's good too, though. It's not better than Tinkerbell. Highly doubt it. I'm questing, am I not? Questing for sure. They don't even play Thief, and even against Thief, I'm not sure. Quest or not. Shit, I looked away. Didn't see what they inked. Tempo Merlin. Playing Gaston doesn't deal the 1, but I hate that I have to ink so many threads, but the thing is, it does give me an extra card to ink. So if I do this, I have to ink a card off the next hand. And quest for 3. It's never Flaversham. Wait, is it? Is it so do I want to play this card? Or do I want to ink Flaversham? How good is Cogsworth or Tinkerbell next turn? Kind of like Cogsworth next turn. I think I'm tripping. Just take this. I think it's better to just go for ink. Because it's not like completely clear. Cogsworth or Tinkerbell is going to be crazy good, so I think I'd rather ink and then play something off the next hand. Don't show them the Flaversham. Smee is very good. Smee, Beast, Hook, they're all pretty good, no? It's like, we're so... Beast is before... So they can only Dragonfire, it's before Medusa. Beast always comes down. So it's Beast, Mickey Mouse, or Beast and these two. Beast, these two gets me a lot of lore very quickly. I don't hate the Vamp. Otherwise I can just use the Mickey Mouse as ink. I like this more. And we had lots more information to go for this line than if we just take Cogsworth or Tinkerbell off the Gaston. Even if Gaston didn't get to quest for 3. Sad. We finally got to this. This is the first Be Prepared we just got. And a Dragonfire. So they only have 1 Dragonfire as far as I know left. Developing Maui is like alright from their perspective, but gets heavily punished by Zeus. Honestly, I'm so ahead on board, and it's before prep. I really want to set up more board. And manas. Another goat. Rafiki. Tinkerbell grab your sword would be huge. Oh. I think I'll actually play the Mickey. Get rid of the develop your brain. Now we actually also get some lore in. So far, turbo we are. I'm starting to value my threats. We've ramped a lot. And the Cusco. There's the Medusa, one of their 2 Medusas. Still, it's very similar to Maui. Flaversham. But I would love to set up manas, you know. If I play this, I go... So I have like effectively 12 ink this turn. So if I play this, I can drop double mana. Don't even need to play Cogsworth this turn. think I actually play the Flaversham. And I might still wheel same turn. Just want to find manas. Oh. Guess I don't wheel this turn. Fuck. Should probably just take ink. Let's see whether they have the first beep prep. Okay, they have it. Now I can just play like these hands against each other, right? I have 2 beep preps left. I think we're pushing. Okay. They stopped beep prepping me. And they didn't even have like, I guess the only Medusa was good. Or exactly Pinocchio Maui. That's the 3rd goat. Getting rid of my quill next turn. I don't want to use it. Oh, that's game. Playing these for my head is just GG. Maybe I could have gotten there game 2. There was probably like lots of, like, it was a million micro decisions game 2. Maybe, most likely some of them I could have done better, but I'm just happy we got to the final. GG.
And we hope you all enjoyed that gameplay from Moyen on Blue Steel. Just want to hit in the outro, reiterate once again some additional cards that could make it into the list, depending on how the metagame shifts. Moyen, the first question I want to pose to you is the big 7 cost Cinderella in Steel. It is a very powerful card in this metagame. A lot of the current deck lists that are out there don't have ways to deal with it. This list is one of those. Is there any other cards that you would add to this list to potentially deal with Cinderella, or even other threats and shifts in the metagame?
So with Ember Steel, with Cinderella's getting first and me getting second with Blue Steel, I expect both of those decks to rise in popularity. I think the best way to tag for both of these matchups increasing in popularity is probably Hades, as it is both good at having an answer for Cinderella. So Cinderella doesn't just lock you out of ever questing again because they sing a song every turn and banish your character every turn. But also I think it's a very reasonable card in the mirror, because the mirror often comes down to, more often than what you might think, it's both players have a Cogsworth down, don't exert the Cogsworth, and then it's like a racing game because board combat is inefficient for both players and both players just jam stuff on the board and try to race to 20. And Hades actually helps a lot with that, just removing an opposing 2 to 3 lore character and putting down your own at the same time.
Mm-hmm. What cards would you be looking to cut to potentially include that Hades?
I would think it's probably just one potential cut is like the 4th Gaston, because you're also adding an uninkable, so it kind of makes sense to not go too high on the uninkables. And then Nothing to Hide is a tech card that was very cuttable. You could even go down to 2 Mickey Mouse, but it's quite risky, because even with 3 Mickey Mouse, occasionally you will miss your ramp on 3, and it really hurts when you do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Any other cards that you want to mention before we head out here?
Not really, no.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think that, like you said, this deck is very well positioned in the metagame. You took it to a fantastic finish at a very big tournament. I think the biggest tournament of set 3 showed its power level to the world. And even off the back of that tournament, even off the back of all those lists being published, I still think it's incredibly well positioned, and it's a very good deck for Pixelborn ladder right now. We appreciate you all for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe, hit that thumbs up, hit like, shoot us a comment, let us know what you think. And until next time, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you later.